I really messed up marrying a model. It's way better to be with an unattractive woman. Smart men go for the so-called ugly duckling. The thing is, relationships are all about value exchange. I give to you, you give to me. Back and forth, mutual effort. The problem with women who are too beautiful is that they think just being pretty is enough. That their looks alone are such a gift that you should feel lucky just to be around them and basically serve them. And why do they think that way? Because that's how it's always been for them. Their beauty and face have always been enough to get the bill covered or to walk into any exclusive place. Guys bend over backwards for them, and no man ever tells them no. They're used to getting everything just for showing up and existing. The issue with marrying a woman like that is that, yeah, at first you're enchanted. But after a while you get used to her beauty. And suddenly, this dynamic, where you're doing everything and carrying the weight of both your lives while she pays you by just being pretty, starts to feel unfair. You stop enjoying it, and you start resenting her. Then there's the second problem. After a few years, beauty fades. And she enters this really tough, bitter phase because her whole identity was built on being beautiful. Now she doesn't have that currency anymore, and it's hard for her to adapt. She resists entering the real world where everything is a give and take, where people give because they get something in return, not just because someone exists or blesses the room with their majestic presence. As a man, the best thing that can happen to you in life is finding an ugly duckling. That's the woman who, when she was younger, didn't think of herself as pretty. Maybe because she had gorgeous sisters or friends and didn't stand out, or maybe she wasn't athletic and had to find her place in the world some other way, by developing a real personality. Maybe she's smart, loves to study, learn to be empathetic, kind, caring. And if you're lucky enough to see her sensual side, and she starts seeing it through your eyes, she blossoms. She starts to feel sexy, beautiful. She discovers this whole new side of herself. And that ugly duckling becomes a swan. Now you've got the best of both worlds. A woman who's grounded, who understands how life works, who doesn't expect to be worshipped just for existing, but who's also discovered and embraced her sensuality. And the key is, her whole personality doesn't revolve around her looks. Look how smart I am. If I had to explain to this little guy why earning 100,000 can sometimes be much harder and take longer than earning $1 million, and I wanted to explain it in a way that he'd understand and never forget, I'd say, first, bring me a kilo of tortillas and tell your brother to bring me a cup of cream. Now, the tortilla shop is just 3 blocks away, so he'd probably walk. But the cream shop is 12 blocks away, so his brother would likely take the motorcycle. Ironically, the one who went nearby for tortillas would take longer to return than the one who went further for cream. The same thing happens with money. 2 brothers, like you, were English teachers. One wanted to save up 100,000 and the other wanted $1 million. The one aiming for 100,000 thinks, all right, I charge $100 a day for classes. I'll need to work 1,000 days to save up 100,000. In about 3 years, I can do it. Meanwhile, the other brother thinks, it's going to take me 30 years at this rate. I can't walk. It's too slow. So he decides to take the motorcycle. In the first year, he teaches basic English on social media, and he gets lucky, gaining 1 million followers. In the second year, he starts selling online courses for 100 each. But instead of teaching one-on-one like his brother, he's on the motorcycle and can sell hundreds of courses a day. That's how he reaches 1 million before his brother. Not by working more or taking more time, but by using a faster vehicle. A friendship between a man and a woman? It's like a lie wrapped in another lie. Here's the truth about that kind of relationship. Some guy posted a TikTok saying, ladies, I don't know if you already realize this, but you definitely have at least one guy friend who's in love with you and just pretending he's not. So I went down the rabbit hole of the comments. One woman replies, of course we know. We just pray to God he never says it out loud. Another one goes, yeah, I know. But I play dumb because I don't want to lose another friend. Then another woman chimes in. Honestly, they don't even hide it. I have to act like I don't notice, just hoping one day he'll give it up. And then this girl says, sometimes I know he likes me even before he figures it out. Women know when their guy friend is into them, but they play dumb because they're not interested. And they also know that the friendship only exists because he thinks he has a chance. So you keep the loyal puppy around with a sausage you're never going to give him? That's messed up. But then again, so is the nice guy, who's really just a wolf in sheep's clothing, pretending to be your friend when he doesn't actually care about friendship. The right thing would be for him to say, hey, I'm not here for friendship. And for her to say, you're never going to be more than a friend to me. And with everything laid out on the table, each person can decide what to do. If you want to understand why people behave like this, why we hide what we really want, read The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. This is how an insecure woman ruins all her relationships. Here's the tragedy that always plays out right at the start. He likes you. He wants to win you over. He texts you every day, invites you out multiple times a week. He's thoughtful and sweet until he finally sparks your interest. And then you start giving back. You send him cute messages, make time for him in your schedule, you're thoughtful too. Everything's going well because you're both putting in effort. But then one day, once he feels like he's got you, he starts losing interest. He pulls back, puts in less effort. So what does a confident woman do at that point? A confident woman thinks,
if you're not into me, I'm not into you either. And it's not out of revenge. It's because what I liked about you, what I found attractive, was how much you wanted me and how you treated me. And now, you don't have that anymore. Now I see it clearly. The prince turned into a toad. I'm just not into you anymore. That's the right answer.
And what usually happens next? The guy notices. He realizes he's losing her, and he snaps back into being sweet and attentive again. He puts in the effort because he sees he can't take her for granted. And the confident woman? Maybe she gives him a second chance. And then the relationship starts to move forward in a good way. He's afraid of losing her. He knows he can't slack off because if he stops loving her, stops trying, he stops being attractive to her. Now, what about the insecure woman? How does she ruin the relationship? When the guy pulls away and stops trying, it hurts her ego. She starts to feel like she's not good enough. And then one of two things happens. Either she starts trying harder to prove she's good enough, she becomes more thoughtful, texts him more, calls him more. But then the guy thinks, wait, so the less effort I put in, the more you give me. I thought you were into me because of how well I treated you. But if I treat you worse and you treat me better, maybe you didn't like me for that after all. So maybe he puts in even less effort. And she panics, thinks it's her fault, and doubles down even more. This is the kind of relationship where she ends up getting walked all over. And the worst part? He starts to believe it. Since she feels worthless and treats him like he's some kind of king, he starts believing it too, and treats her the same way. Then there's the other version of how she ruins it. He thinks he already got her, so he takes her for granted, loses interest, stops putting in effort, and she starts giving him discounts.
You don't need to pick me up, I'll come over. Forget dinner out, I'll just come to your place and we can watch Netflix.
What time works for you?
Anytime, really.
And he keeps saying he's more and more busy, takes longer to reply until one day, he disappears. And then she says,
if he didn't want to be with me, why didn't he just say so?
Too late.
Did you know that if you buy a box with 100 envelopes and a pen, and you number them from 1 to 100, and on the first day you put $1 in envelope 1, on the second day $2 in envelope 2, and the third day $3 in the envelope 3, and the fourth day $4 in the envelope 4, and keep going for 100 days until you reach envelope 100. Did you know that at the end of 100 days, you would not only have the habit of saving, but you would also have $5,050? Well, that's quite a bit. And how many envelopes would I need if I only wanted to put together for the latest iPhone that costs $1,000? You would have to save for 45 days. Wow. Wait a sec. And if I wanted a really small apartment that would cost around $50,000? And how many envelopes would I need, or how many days would I have to save? Okay, let's see. The formula to know how much you would save with any number of envelopes is the number of envelopes multiplied by the number of envelopes plus 1 divided by 2. For example, in 100 envelopes, is 100 by 101 divided by 2 equal to 5,050? But answering your question, the majority of people believe that to save, let's say, $50,000, you would need thousands of envelopes and save for years, and they are surprised to hear that you only need 316 envelopes. You'd be finished in 316 days, which is less than a year. Keep in mind, this isn't easy. On day 300, you'd need to save $300. And on the next day, the day 301, $301. Quite a lot for many. And so, the first envelopes are very easy. $1, $2, $3. But the last ones are very difficult. Why don't you start with the 100 envelopes and fill them at your own pace? At the end, you will not only have $5,050, but you will also have formed the habit of